When analyzing the intense rivalry between the Lord of the Sith Vader and Kenobi, many will point to their duel on Mustafar being the defining event. But again, this was only the first time that the Jedi Master and the Sith Lord would cross blades. Within canon, the two of them dueling 4 times. We all love to analyze the duel on Mustafar, and exactly why Kenobi won that day. But what I found very interesting was the duel in A New Hope, more specifically, the thoughts of Lord Vader. As we watch A New Hope, we are far more in Obi-Wan Kenobi's corner and understand where he is coming from on his side of things. He is an old desert hermit. He is a very skilled warrior, but he is far beyond his prime. We know all of this, but what exactly was going on in the mind of Lord Vader? Something that I find far more compelling. How did Darth Vader approach the situation? Why did he think it was very possible that Kenobi could still beat him, even though he sensed that he was more powerful than the old Jedi Master? Well, thankfully, thanks to the Star Wars Legends book Star Wars Death Star, we actually get within the very mind of Lord Vader during this final climactic duel on the Death Star. And his thoughts, as well as how he approaches the duel throughout, is very important and compelling, showing the evolution of Vader and the remaining fear that the Jedi Master Kenobi has left with him, as well as why, at the end of the duel, Vader was terrified and infuriated with the fate of the Jedi Master. Lord Vader was always obsessed with his performance against Obi-Wan Kenobi, and while he would go on to say that this moment taught him great pain and suffering, leading into more power in the dark side of the Force, he was always bothered by the fact that he lost. On Mustafar, he could blatantly sense within the Force itself that he was more powerful than Kenobi, and this gave him great confidence as he entered the duel with his master. However, as the novel reveals, in the nearly 20 years following past this duel, Vader has an itch at the back of his mind, an itch that questions if he will ever be able to defeat Kenobi again. If he couldn't defeat him at his very best with all of his limbs and with all of his potential in the Force, how could he ever pose a chance against the Jedi Master now with his cybernetic limbs? These thoughts were always in the back recesses of the Sith Lord's mind, as he always pushed past them, ensuring to himself that on the day Kenobi would reveal himself, he would be more than ready to strike him down. In the novel, Darth Vader thinks back of Kenobi and the power that he sensed in him on Mustafar, realizing that as Lord Vader, his power eclipses Obi-Wan even despite his injuries. Vader is ready. In the novel, we finally get an inside look into Vader's mind and his thoughts as the moment that he has been waiting for 2 decades is finally here. Kenobi is standing in front of him, and he has nowhere to go. The novel goes on to explain that Darth Vader is worried, but only for a brief moment. After their opening engagement, Lord Vader can sense that the very flow of the Force is in his favor, feeling the energy that surrounds the two old rivals. What he has suspected for so long is true. His power eclipses that of the old Kenobi. To make things better, Vader's confidence is only bolstered when he realizes just how out of practice Kenobi is, noting how he is slower and less precise than his duel on Mustafar and during the Clone War. Vader's confidence grows, but he snaps back instantly, his memories of Mustafar flashing behind the red lenses. He was confident then as well. As the duel progressed, Vader explains that he can feel the dark side of the Force itself pushing him ever closer to victory. This is not the same Kenobi that Anakin dueled on Mustafar. He is able to anticipate each of the old man's moves and strikes to perfection. To Vader, it is as if he is seeing what the man will do before he ever reacts. The flow of the Force continues, and Vader knows that his victory is nigh. But again, he pulls back. Vader watches his opponent extremely carefully, studies him, and allows him to retreat, something he would have never done on Mustafar. Instead of pushing a full-on offensive assault, Darth Vader waits. He is patient. He has learned. He does not answer the calls of the dark side to butcher and cleave through the Jedi. He waits, and he continues to watch, acknowledging the power of his former master, the technique, and the experience. It is here where we reach a pivotal moment. Someone calls out to Obi-Wan Kenobi, and Vader has a decision to make. Will he look over and see the comrade that is calling to the old Jedi Master? No, he remains laser focused at the enemy in front of him. He will not give Kenobi any edge whatsoever. Kenobi does look over, and he smiles, as Vader is filled with a sense of anticipation. Vader analyzes the face of Kenobi, He sees no anger, hatred, no worry, no fear whatsoever. All he sees is the Jedi Master's smirk as he lifts his blade toward his face. In a moment, Vader pauses, looking for the slightest expression on the Jedi Master's face, looking for any edge he could gain, any trick that Kenobi might pull. Vader is stunned as Kenobi completely drops his guard. The dark side urges him to deliver a killing strike, but Vader again pauses and hesitates. But the moment of hesitation is over. Vader swings directly towards the Jedi Master's throat. There will be no escape for Kenobi this time, as he can feel his lightsaber pass through the cloak of the Jedi. In this moment, the dark side of the Force flows through Vader like never before. He can almost hear it congratulate him on his long-awaited victory, proof that he was superior to the Jedi in every way. He had finally done it. His revenge was now complete. But the moment quickly comes to an end. Vader begins to question himself as he looks down in horror. The body of Kenobi was gone. Vader's instant reaction was fury, but then his fury was replaced with great fear and resentment. Kenobi had played his final trick, his final card. As thoughts flooded Vader's mind, he was hit with an awful realization. Obi-Wan Kenobi had not taught Anakin Skywalker everything he knew. Kenobi had held something back, something that he had put into action only at the end. Vader believed this to be a trick. Kenobi was dead, but Kenobi still denied him the satisfaction that he so desperately craved. Kenobi was a liar. He had not trained Anakin fully, and there were still things that the Jedi knew that Anakin, and now Vader, did not. But the fear entered Vader's mind again. Not only did he not understand what had just occurred, but he wasn't even close to figuring it out. He had studied the Force his entire life, and there was only one place Vader could think to begin. Thinking to his master. Thinking to his master's own master, in Darth Plagueis. He had heard of this ability in passing from Palpatine, and in this moment, he questions if Kenobi's disappearance and the secrets held by Palpatine were one and the same. A reminder that no matter how powerful he grows, Vader is forever the student. But that, my friends, is exactly how Darth Vader approached the duel, and how Obi-Wan robbed the Sith Lord of his ultimate revenge and victory. We do have another part that could go along with this video, that being exactly what Vader does with the knowledge of Kenobi's disappearance through the Force, how he thinks it's connected to Sidious and Plagueis. So if you'd like that video, be sure to leave a like and request it below. But now, my friends, what are your thoughts on this? What are your thoughts at getting a look into the mind of Lord Vader during his final duel with Obi-Wan Kenobi? To me, this follows the Mustafar duel phenomenally, and it was fascinating to get inside the mind of Vader and the differences between how Anakin approached Mustafar to how Vader is reacting now. He doesn't want to give Obi-Wan any sort of edge, and unlike Mustafar, he gives Obi-Wan his due credit. Not only his power in the Force, which Vader can sense, but also how cunning and intelligent the Jedi is. He is also far more composed, even at one point allowing Kenobi to retreat further into the Death Star. He refuses to let the Jedi Master get any sort of edge, even if he has no idea where that edge could come from. Getting into the mind of Lord Vader here, he has certainly learned from his mistakes on Mustafar and grown stronger and a better fighter because of it. His connection to the Force is stronger, and the way he approaches this duel is magnificent, finally giving the Jedi the respect that he deserves. But even in the end, Kenobi takes from him this last victory. But anyway, my friends, what are your thoughts on this? Do you enjoy these insights into the mind of Vader? As always, my friends, thank you so much for visiting the channel today, and may the Force be with you always.